No, no. Had the victim of the song, then if your victim involves other victims. Now, I have to say, it is more pressing in the meditated time, not just the accidental one. But the accidental one is so much more significant. So in other words, um, because premeditated bank robberies are done second degree, almost achieved. Um, I'm not sure if you want to go saying that is something cinematic. What explanation something for now. Notice of that? This isn't intelligence happened like that. As I was leaving, by the way, those opposing for each. As I was leaving, the literally I was sitting down there on my dog and was smacking the fire barrel and the entire time the little guy has been recording the video. Just recorded it. 8 minutes, something have passed. For those 8 minutes, something seconds, all documented. Once I get to the thing, I dive in the. I get up as soon as I get up to leave. We have the premieres getting up at the same time. And I didn't look at the space. I didn't look at the space earlier. I didn't look at the space in the end. Doesn't matter to me. I know it's a female, jeans and black shirt, and that's as much as I know. The getting up, as I was getting up to move this way, so much so they was noticeable when I thought, okay, so getting for a bus. I saw a bus coming, getting to pick up a bus, not a big. But you know, organize my feelings to notice there is no bus. Um, so there's that. There is a bus now. It just done from the corner there, it was completely invisible. So, um, but matters also little to me. Not because I want to reference the other event, but the other female that was there, the rounded, round shaped one that was there before, who was pointing from my way and waiting there. Because I truly believe that this one is also strong, I just don't have evidence for that. And because everyone who's a part of this crime, once you let you know is a part of this crime, um, well, the I said just imagine something related. Okay? As for the rest, as I said, this is a case where you have that crimes just recklessly endangering the life of someone else. Which better me would be enough. I'm a person, despite their best arguments to the contrary. But what you have is that this recklessly endangers the life of someone else, a bus body who did fell from the bus. Now he fell on his feet, but the bus was moving. He was lucky and he was agile. The old lady that was in front of me was probably going to see that. She had the flash like a. Anyway, that's important. I wanted to show that to you. I was just waiting for something like this. Do you believe, with the amount of evidence you have as of this point, and I can carry those things on myself so much I carry them so far, but that's the thing that I'm showing. Do you believe that would or was not caused by me? And it was one of the reasons I stopped here. I was documenting the things in the back. And I almost wanted to say it was, because there was no way for me to predict half of that. And I'm telling you categorically, and that's the thing why I say this. Because the things that I say cause you to. And to be fair, that is the car from that company. That company we see always associated with those crimes. The uniform, right? And by the way, that's how it happened. So if at any point in the future you see me being particularly biased against something that has to do with machines, then just know that those things are going to look at the future. You need to confront this. You look to someone who survived a war crime and say, hey, you should not be thinking about people from that culture because, despite the fact that they try to do terrible things to you, complete impunity in plain daylight, with no regard even though the law enforcement was either part of it or turning a blind eye to it. And no, we're not talking about previous times in the previous century. I'm talking about this crime. So, interesting. It was accidental, by the way. I'm quite sure you should do that with care. You can do a much more blending way to showcase some interesting connotations. In the case of Argentina, if I was talking about that, it would have been directly with participation of law enforcement, which would have been sounding far better. The forefathers would be so proud. I mean, just for real, like the same guys that welcome those guys as fallen heroes, we're proud. Fine, carrying out the designs of what they need. As for the, let's go to like in Spanish, or variation in Spanish, you gotta cut some line, okay? Because in case you failed to notice, by the time when this crime happened, there was already a 53-minute video of just describing the crimes that have happened at that time. There's a reason why that video starts in minute, that clip starts in minute 53.05, I think, out of the 53 and 50 something second whole video. 50 minutes and 50 something seconds. Only on the last minute is when this crime happened. Because up to then it was just me describing the previous crimes that have happened until that point. So, as I said, just some casual perspective for you to see when something is not going to shut your nation to tiny in a minute. And just because I hadn't killed or haven't broken yet, they truly believe that they're going to take my resilience as argument to the lesson of their crimes when you can see their crimes in video. So, as I said, do not take the lack of impact on how I managed to circumvent some of the impacts of their crimes today as a sign of the impact not being decisive. Their crimes are massive and they are meant to destroy a person. The only reason they haven't done that is because it's a double-edged sword. They try to do those crimes in plain daylight, gradually increasing them to the point where we'll be able to carry that out without me being capable of pointing out to the proper authorities and done in a proper way. Now, there are no proper authorities here. Point that in a proper way, which probably involve the press or media somehow. But the problem is, at the same time they did that, they also gave me time to learn. So, again, fucking reality, right? Cuts both ways. Yes, they don't get the shocking effect. They're still gonna get the shocking effect because guess what? Guess who's presented this thing cold, like fully fresh, and they can lie to you. Hell, I'll pay you real money for them to lie to you before I show you the truth in video. Because it's just gonna increase the effect even more. But for what you have in the temperings as well, but temperings a bit less, lies a bit better. As we showed these days what they intend to think. So that's what they know. Again, we're establishing just like a force case, step by step, what we say. Now, would that be possible? Otherwise, that's the thing. They do something abrupt. You have one option, right? After they decide to make this public, I would still be good enough in my head and good enough in my person to just resort to what should be proper authority. If I knew then what I know now, I'm not talking about lessons, I'm talking about information. If I have access to how this is developed, I would have proceeded in slightly different ways, usually mostly just directly relying on contacting the press in a very direct and non-subtle way. But and I would be able to phrase things better, would function better, would look like this. As I said, their crimes gave them a leeway to do certain things, but comes with downsides, and the downsides are that I got to learn through it and get the amount of evidence that is safe. Because all the backups are safe. It's the reason we consider that safe, the reason why we were so jaw-dropped when they arrived from backup days, and they'll be all like sassy, and I was like, what the fuck are you sassy about? You have any idea what just happened? And I think that's what they did until they realized that they just were likely using their hacked Argentinian phone to get access to information from the little guy, presumably, because I still think that they got access to the little guy directly from assaulting the other night. Which is the public knowledge when it happened, so that bad too. But most importantly, they didn't even have a clue about how much the evidence being kept safe and kept away. So as I said, for what it's worth, the and it's not like you get to see that in video, right? It's not like you get to see me generally puzzled by is that something I don't know? And no, apparently there was something they didn't know. As for the which how, right? They stalk me 24/7. You just back a question to how I managed to be like anyway, that's the point. Just because you have this guy who viciously decides to murder a child, right? And then he blunders all the way through and ends up just telling his crime to a cop who is just happened to be with his family in the mall. Yeah, he's almost comedically bad at what he's trying to do. That doesn't mean that his crime is okay. That's my point, right? You see the horror of this? What, I don't know what happened there. Guy just coming by with a car. They're coming to me. Either way, when I ask, it's from fast. No, that's supposed to be about. As I said, I can carry my own thing. Um, the um, the thing is, the crimes are pretty bad, and far like you haven't seen anything from animal cruelty to the abuses to me to everything else. Around that bus driver just essentially stole $5 from a bus and lived in the street. Um, not big of a car, so what? The only difference between that and other people is that this is my credit card, that card, my personal one. Or other people to be receiving money from everybody else, or technically be stealing from everybody else, which sounds worse, but it's actually better because if everybody else has more than $5, the homeless person might not. So, as I'm phrasing that to you, uh, um, I'm not waiting for someone to deliver me a kite. I don't know why I'm here, but that's true. That I'm here for purpose since I like to so much pose things for cameras and things. I don't. I'm finishing what came here to do. Funny enough, in a place where there are not many drugs, I mean, at least not for now. Maybe they're gonna change, but it hasn't changed yet. And good. Again, the two types of people that receive news that they are not being accused or they cleared off or something, right? There are good people and there are criminals. And even criminals, there's only a very unique type of criminals that will be angry about being told that they are not being doing something bad. So when I say they're not throwing drugs on me, there is a very, very unique niche amongst criminals or people that will be angry about receiving the news that they are not being accused of something really as bad as drugging someone. So if I tell you that you are not doing something really evil, you're happy, right? You say, yeah, unless there's some underlying accusation. In case it's not, I'm telling you, no drugs here as of now that I can notice. Um, that is good news. Okay, if nothing else, also proves something else, which is that I'm reliable, which is good for you, but also good for them in the sense that they'll be confident that if they don't do crimes, they're not going to be accused while being innocent. Um, it's something that I know a few things about. As for the, that's what I was saying. Um, anyway, move on. The, which by the way, I just want to point out how natural my action is. Everybody sits around in those tubs doing all sorts of things. You see that literally all the time, right? You see his smoke, you see his talk, you see his talk on the phone. And I'm holding the phone in a way that's pointing at the building and talking to the microphone. This action couldn't be more harmless than just natural, right? Just pointing that with clear words. As for the, and that's because I want to finish this, because I'm quite sure there's going to be further crimes inside. And I want to finish in those ones. Scrap, not the lesson, learn the extreme hard way. So, as I said, perfectly. This is a great example to showcase exactly what I was talking about. Okay. You see that, for instance, now you have everything very condensed and explained to you. No, it's not condensed, not easy to explain, but it's told in a best way I could at this moment. Deliver at this moment. That's the address, you're just not noticing, but it might be a reaction. I was very stressed before. I don't know. Okay, focus. Regardless, I wouldn't have to finish anyways right now. I don't have to reach block that anyway, so there's nothing to do anyway. Might as well just finish and just not think about it. I start leaving my mouth. The as of now, what we know is this. So you're seeing that, and best way ahead. Because I know, back in the other days, I would just go in straight through. Try to do that more comfortably sitting in a chair, on a table, and then there'll be drugs, and then there'll be other things. The most importantly, there, in the way there are going to be so many other crimes. Those crimes going to get smothered underneath the sheer layer of other things. Right here, I can sit down in a controlled environment and spill out everything I need to know in a logically controlled fashion. That's why I'm here. Okay, checking batteries. There's so much to do. I didn't even get to do the silly things that I wanted to do, which is to come up with the cover for the camera. Open and close. Just no time. Didn't come out. It's simple to do. Just a piece of cardboard, put it on top, strap in with the tape. We're good. Cover for the other phone, same thing. So it prevents some of those things. A space to hold the other phone in the back, kind of like a hook. I'm thinking more like some tape on top of this one, forming kind of like a hood. You know, like you have a hoodie with the covers on top. The same thing for the other phone. Because the camera on the other phone is more to the middle rather than to the top, you'll cover all the way down here, right, with tape. So the tape around here, but you'll be on this. Then you're gonna put tape on both sides so it doesn't stick. Although sticking is good too, but it's gonna lose. Yeah, I don't need to put tape on both sides. It's gonna lose its stickiness in like a couple days. The stickiness is actually good, but it's gonna go away anyway. And then I can just let it down. You know, what happened today will never happen again because it'll be a physical barrier between this camera and the other phone. And then it just lights up and it sits down as if a guy in a hammock. Hammock could be a word. Just think about it. Or chair. Just sitting down there. Type head first. So instead of going all the way up, stick that. And also slides up forward. So I can just have a much better grab with both phones because they're not going to be sliding on top of each other. They're going to be fixed. And this is always going to be pushed up anyways because I'm always holding it from the bottom. Pretty good. So, yeah. Just came up with that. It's going to work. And when you see all those things and you put them together, it's easy to have this in your head there. Well, dude, nothing is that much of a big deal, but it can be. Okay? One of the major concerns there, today they threw relatively fewer drugs, mostly because it's probably noticed that the dude yourself on the bus said this is a big deal and you're going to blow up. Accusations after seeing those things in video are a big deal. But I just want to point out, first off, they all have expectations to do harm to me when they sleep at night. All of them. Not just the guys who are going to do the harm. Everybody you see around you has expectations that harm will be done to me as I'm asleep. Okay? Secondly, the if no harm's going to be done today. They all probably have some sizable expectations that they're going to drug me so much here in the mall that I won't remember or not be able to capable to finish the things, which is why I'm doing those things now. That's already compensating for that. So that's two. Three, they are also tampering, hoping that the tampering is direct. So that each individual layer of crimes they are able to deliver, they're not just able to deliver, they expect to be done to me as of right now. Let's notice. This is a very low battery. So, and low battery is still documenting everything. So, yeah, that's another layer. It's slimy. I mean, weird to hell and back. It's going to be my expression for the whole time. It just easily look away. The so documented both phones. That to do with tampering. Not much battery, which is why you have to go inside soon enough. But what I'm saying is, simple example of what I meant before. Just because everything's not exploding, it's not because they wouldn't want it to be, or it wouldn't be absolutely helpful. You see those days already, they exist in file, and they'll be sharing them, they'll be everywhere, right? Things are not just in fire because I'm taking controlled measures to prevent this, both not overreacting myself. Keep in mind, just imagine me for a second. When you have just sheer level of things, and you terrify not because of what they're gonna do, but you're terrified because they're gonna drug you so much that you won't be able to do what you have to do to make sure that that crime is straight documented. Okay, regardless of what happened next to that random dude, they just stole $5 from me while doing another crime. Now that's gonna cost them at least more than 100 times that when the time comes. But the point is, it doesn't matter. I don't need $500 in the future. I need much more $5 now. And most importantly, there are no guarantees that that's gonna happen again. Now, happening again be useful for proving that that's a company thing, right? Because once you establish everything is public, and you're gonna establish that for other means, you don't need a company to establish how public this crime is. They don't have any say in determining how public or not public this crime is, in fact. So once you establish that, you can roll back and apply. Again, just criminal law 101. Just honestly, just litigation 101. That's why if you get convicted of something that will be used later, we don't need to actually establish things 3, 4, 5 times. Once established the okay, that was enough. The two dudes, including one that seems to be an employee in front, was acting weird enough and pull out. And now there was some tapping or something on the phone. So, based on previous crimes in which yeah, digital crimes happen after things like this happen, putting down files. Nothing has happened yet, but if it does, I want this already documented so I can look at that's a reaction to me. As I said. Yeah, that's what I said. So, being my point. Now, if you want to know which employee, that was the employee that started the whole not putting my ID number in receipt. ID number in receipt. Some best example to prove something. Okay, a best a face value that doesn't add up all that much, but in the end, it's one of the examples of the things I said that they're gonna stuck with if it sticks, and if it doesn't stick, they don't. In fact, that's applicable to every crime you see, right? Um, not just accusations, as I said yesterday. I went this huge length yesterday talking about accusations, and that applies for any crime. If you think it's gonna work, they continue doing it, and if not, they will stop. That's how they got themselves in the situation they are right now. Don't feel sorry for them for a second. It always starts with them doing some minor crime against me that anyone, even a child, could see was immoral, bad, or just evil. And they just continue doing it, not because they thought it was right or because of they thought it was necessary, just because they thought it'd be funny. So that's the point. Now I don't blame the other guy that came with the Mufasa car to take the Mufasa car away, because as far as I'm concerned, the car wasn't there before. I am saying that the other one moved the car away because it saw that I was here. Now, I cannot prove that, but I also don't have a specific identification. All you see is another green shirt involved in this crime from that company, uniform company involved in this crime. And I'm comfortable enough with that. Because I'll still be bad because there's a genuine chance that there could have been not. No, there's not a genuine chance. There's a small, unconsiderable chance that this is not, but it's very small. Okay, especially because Bex right next to me as I was talking, you know, I had the bag to be and it was just moving around. He saw an opportunity and he took it. Okay, an opportunity was normal because technically they're an employee from that company. Um, that is fine. As I said, I can carry my own things. The other guy coming by me just accidentally picking that up, that'll make it look like he brought that for me. Which could be good, it could be bad, but no. Not because of that. I would pick that up for a second. If you pass in front of me, I would have asked. And even I almost went there, to be honest. The only reason I didn't is because I want to finish this. And I do still want to finish this. Right now I'm in the stage where they are throwing drugs for me, psychological drugs at least. Oh yeah, and a boner drug. Apparently right now, I'm just having an erection here. Which is good, because for the past few minutes you have the idea where my eyes are. The car must look super sexy from here. Literally. This one hand, the other hand is there. Okay? And start having an erection. I'm online. See the advantage of not being a liar? Because I'm not showing this to you because I have citizenship. Despite again bad attempts. And yeah. Don't know how, don't know why. Know that this guy I don't have any clue what this guy is doing. He just fucked up entirely the guy behind it, so much the guy so terrified he's moving away. Might be a passing the baton thing. So, by all means, at the erection time, boy, please quote me in the future on this. It's too good. So, at the erection time, you see this fucking fast, fuck fast up in front, which does sound like a more plausible expression than what you actually phrased that before, but that's good. You want those things to be half plausible because you can phrase a lot later. Okay? Nothing funny, nothing normal about that. Just another assault on her. Gross like that. So, oh yeah, and then there are two teenagers passing by now, which I imagine was the attempt to say those things. Imagine if I had mentioned that before. I suppose that would be a big deal, wouldn't it? Oh, you wouldn't. Yeah, but I mean, at this point, I think you pretty much tell a clear idea. Remember that I mentioned there and I said the times when it works, and then the times when it fails? That'll be the times when it fails. So, by the time you see me saying all that, you see on my eyes out, you see everything else, and there's nothing there. You see minus passing in front of me. That's what you see, right? By the way, kind of like going away, so I think I'm be able to go now. That'll be the times when it fails, as I said before. And for the fail, when they once again release that truck way ahead of time from the thing they're supposed to be reacting to, and I verbalize that, do you think that that's just that in a beautiful way? And this is still recording, so fantastic. Even the Spencer didn't thought that was good enough samples, which is pretty good. Again, it's recorded on two devices, so it's not like it's hidden away either way. Um, yeah, I showed just that I showed that in videos with other phones. Not the fucking phone, but the other thing. Just another coincidence, right, that I couldn't have possibly projected or imagined or seen because there's nothing to see from here. Anything else. Just another one, right? So, as I said, by the time when you're seeing this, you're not going to be able to debate if you're drugging me or not. By the time when you're seeing this, you know the substance, you know who's involved, you know who's doing, you know the system, and everything else. I'm just pointing that to very uncertain, very un... Damn it, certain, the opposite of uncertain. Very, in no uncertain terms, the expression. I don't know why that appears from my brain. So I'm just expressing that to you in no uncertain terms what is happening. Now, if I was lying, that would be a bad idea because all of a sudden you can be cross-checked, right? And yeah, I want you. I'm not lying. Yeah, by all means. Sounds that categorically. And I tell you one more. They'll be saying that to each other. They'll be planning that to each other. They'll know that that is. And they're reacting to that in the same way that they react to the other things you already know are true. So even though there be something as simple as to me to point at my groin and you see things low enough, I will not do that because, as I said, despite the best attempts, I am a person. I'm not going to slow myself down unless I have to for no choice. But as for that reaction to that is going to be the same reaction to other things. Funny enough, much harder to prove things like than drugging me systematically. So by the time you know those things, you see everybody's reaction to that, knowing that they knew that was a lie. Do you think that for this one, they just happened to believe it was true? So they know that things are lies, and in proving that these days, I said, they're not just proving what's happening, proving what they know is happening, and they know what is happening, and then you see that those things are, and they're proving for other means concretely. Then all of a sudden, by that being the dude that I was pointing the phone at, because he was pointing the phone at me in the way through. Yet another time, when something that face value, you almost have the instinct to defend and saying, well, but now you're acting rationally, and then you just see this, yet again, just on the spot. So, now that's not a big deal by itself. I'm just pointing that out. There. for what you see is once again the situation when they tamper with evidence all the time. So when it's happening on the phone, direct eyesight to me. We've done this at any other point. A couple meters to the back, there is no vision for me. Even there, a couple meters forward, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even pay attention to. I'm just pointing out that casually to you. That's a very easy way to see. So, as I said, um, how much else? Oh, yeah, just enough to be mentioned and move away because whenever you saw that happen, no, sorry, it's lingering there long enough, just long enough for to acknowledge that I was mentioning. So, for what it's worth, that's not the MIMA proof. MIMA proof, the other proof, testimony, actual samples, you test, the evidence in the air, the other stuff. And once you have that, you have that reaction, right? And then you can compare the reaction between the two situations. Because if one situation you can prove that they knew what was happening, reacted by saying, oh no, oh my god, that is so unbelievable. And in the other one, they reacted exactly the same way. And you already proved that they knew about the first one was a lie. And knowing them, and know that when I mean exactly the same way, I don't mean do nothing. When I mean exactly the same way, it's down to expressions, words, and very specific technology. Because A is me, and B is them. The sadistic criminals torturing and trying to destroy the life of one person. So again, karma is such a thing where you have some comeuppance for the choices you make. And, I chose stuff in the choices and chose I know what fucking with. But they chose to do what they do. And now you see that. Straightforward. No ifs, no buts. So, there you go. I think that's about it. As I said, for the crimes there, it's off. But it saves when it cuts down. That's a conflict. It always does. That's why it just goes to the night. Even if it dies in the night, it should report up to that point. Not a biggie. For the rest though, yeah. What's gonna stop this stuff again is pretty much distraction. Well, yeah, because forgot to mention, for all of this, it's already kind of a no ideal situation because I have to charge the devices. I didn't have time to do that yet. So, layers, because today I have already sedated drugs. Besides sedated drugs, while shooting away. And the things that next to me to document. I have to witness them throwing those drugs on a cat, and seeing them just hungry next to me while knowing what it means to be that hungry. Very close by, like today, right now I'm that hungry. Not that hungry, but I'm hungry. Knowing that they ate a couple hours prior, like this happened about 10 a.m., right? By 8 a.m. they're eating. But I knew that they were throwing something, yeah. Chased by bees and other insects, that's the reaction stuff they did. Plus some minor dehumanization, plus being aware of what's happening around me, and physically assaulted right here minutes ago with the disgusting between that, and implicitly accused because of the minors who saw moving away. How many seconds after? I was still having it, it was just going away, so it would be, I would say, 0 seconds, you can say, but at the end of the day, when I was still having it, good enough. But how many seconds before I started? I'd say about a minute, right? So, now imagine if they're less shit. Not more honorable, not more decent, not actual people, but just less shit. Then it would be a more auspicious timing, right? That's difficult to prove or disprove. Those are the times when I say that they fail. So you can understand the times when they succeed in their reference back to this. Otherwise, they do that in a day when you have so much evidence already. The video is not going away. It's up for you to debate. It says 34 minutes here.